Are we on the road or are we on the ground?
Where are we?
This is farm.
Oh my gosh!
This is farm living.
Pretty good.
Well, you know, it's probably squirrel pie around here, but
What?
if this all collapsed like the 80s and all these cards went to zero, I'd still have them in a case up front.
Come to dad. Whoa.
The biggest card ever was Honus Wagner, right? That was 100 years ago, and people still want it.
Kids off at school, but you've never dropped what?
I said I've dropped kids off at summer camp, but when Oscar asked me to drive him to Indy to drop him off to go to the Pacers in Summer League, I was like, I've dropped kids off at camp, I've never dropped kids off at the NBA.
Look at these.
So, really cool that he was on the cover of a card thing, right? And it's a friend that doesn't have anything to do with cards. Now he does because of who he is and what he does, but so I had him sign a bunch of those, and I wanted to give you an Adriana one.
Wow,
because you had that great night out or afternoon out the creek.
Yeah, that's cool. He's a great guy.
And it's what we do. We do cards, and we know him as our friend. What a cool thing to have.
That is
just
cool.
like putting it in our office forever.
Wow, thank you, man.
It's a big student store, dorms. Now they built this crazy practice facility. Jay's been in there. They put this here on purpose. Like, all right, now you're leaving town. Now you're going into the greatest horse country in the world, and there's the greatest horse that ever lived. And then right when you get on the other side of the traffic circle, you can see stone, fences, big boy horse farms. Why is Kentucky horse country? Because putting the horses in these fields and eating this grass is naturally the best thing for thoroughbreds to eat. So yeah, you can do it elsewhere. Plenty of people do, Virginia, California, all these other places, but here, they just walk outside and they're eating the best thing they can have all day.
This is like a beautiful playground for them.
In like the right lighting, you can the green blades will turn blue.
It's almost blue at night. That's what they call it, like right at dusk, because it's so certain times of the year, especially spring around now, it's so lush, so thick green carpety that it looks blue right at dusk. It's a little country lunch. Bono is what I was thinking about too.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do this. So hot brown, Kentucky dish. I figure we're out in the country. We're sitting where we went out and hung out that day, and that's the Big Kahuna, you know, one of the kind of case hits out of Bowman Chrome.
Wow.
And that's our friend and your guy, and
Dude, that's cool.
thought you should go home with one.
Thank you, bro. Oh my gosh. That inspired me that day.
Dude, it was awesome, isn't it? I got the Bourbon Trail Triple Crown sandwich of chicken, tomato, turkey, ham, basically an angioplasty to go.
All right, and I got the pimento burger.
There's a practice racetrack
What?
down there. Look down there, the fountain in the middle. See how beautiful this canopy is, though?
Yeah.
And in the fall in Kentucky, this all changes beautiful color.
He's letting us in the farm.
Are we on the road or are we on the ground?
Where are we?
This is farm.
Oh my gosh!
This is farm living. This is what you country boys do.
I have anxiety.
You will survive. We'll be fine. Last time I was here, I was with him,
That's right.
and we were with Big O, Oscar, and we were sitting right here.
We sat out here for a while.
Talk
just
about
kinda
faith, life.
life, the Lord, people, friends, family. See, look, I put in a little office. Here's my office.
This is the office. Do you think about the card shopping cards when you're here, or do you try to just let it go?
No, I do. I don't think I could ever not, but man, what a setting to actually, you know, I always tell you, like, slow down and you can think, but I can think beyond just, okay, we got trade night tonight, or we got to get this release done the right way. I can think like, okay, what do we want to do with California? What do we want to do in Colombia? Like I can think a little further out here. I like that.
Look at this spot. We're here at Jimmy's 60-acre farm. We're gonna talk about sports cards, the industry, panicking, the market crashing and growing. We're gonna go in, I'm gonna sit down with Jimmy and we're gonna ask him some questions.
Last time we were here, we were talking about big decisions, and when we slowed down for an afternoon, you're like, okay, I want to not do this, I want to do this. And I was like, sometimes you just have to, and this is the perfect setting for it, in my opinion, when you take that time to just slow down, you can, and I said, surround yourself with other thinkers. that you go down and listen to people, you can come to a realization like, yeah, okay, I slowed down enough to be like, I feel really at peace with this. And I was like, a lot of people will just be like, I said I would have no problem calling you if I was like, I want to launch a content channel. A lot of people just go, I'm going to launch. Well, no, I've learned enough at my age to say, let me call Mojo. Let me call Ryan. Let me call the guys I know that have done this and say, what are the pitfalls? But I'll learn. And it was like what we talked about that day. And then I was like, you know why? And I said, when you slow down, you can come to clear decisions. And I said, you know why we're called the Roadshow? Is because I was doing what you were doing. I did it for about 3 months. I was. And it was, I just left the camp and I was like, you know, I don't think I want to open a shop, but let me go. I went out and I interviewed RBI. You can go see this on my YouTube channel way back. I was like, I want to start a channel. I interviewed these guys and I called it Jimmy's Roadshow, Jimmy's Kentucky Roadshow. And after about 5 guys, I was like, I think after my running a high school in my 20s and helping start a bank in my 30s, I think I could do this business. And it was from asking questions of other men I respected and people I respected. RBI, you know, Andy at IndyCar Exchange, Ryan, all these guys. And then I hit the Zion card, and then that went to that whole media blitz. And I was like, okay, I've asked questions of 5 great shops. I've got a business background. I've got an educational background. I've hit this card. It's in the media. Okay.
Talking to you here, it's nostalgic because last time I was in Kentucky, I was going through a lot of uncertainties, and I actually thought about opening a card shop. And I know that when I want to open a card shop, I'm going to talk to a few people. I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to talk to Rob from Burbank, and I'm going to talk to Card Collector 2.
Great.
That's my lineup, and I would not open a shop until I talk to them. But when I talk to you here, you did challenge me to critically kind of think about it, and I'd realized that I wanted to open a shop for the wrong reasons. And my vision was in content, and we were traveling around and learning more about shops, and I thought that's what I needed to stick to after all of it when I flew home. And
because it wasn't, when we talked, I didn't say you should open a shop, you shouldn't open a shop.
No, you didn't.
It was why, and what does that look like?
What city?
In your life. What does your life become? I know what mine's become now. That's been crazy, opening different shops, different places. But I thought it's probably going to be like this for a couple of years. It's probably going to be this. But when we walked, it wasn't you should or you shouldn't. It's let's dig into all the details of Mojo and why and what can you accomplish and what's the ultimate goal, and like follow the argument as far as it'll go. I'd have been behind you either way.
I know you would have.
When kids come to me, I love it. It's the wrong question in a way, but they'll come and they'll say, hey, what should I PC? I'm like, absolutely, I'm not the person to answer that. Only you can answer that. What do you love? And why? But then I'll say, you see all this stuff in this Jimmy case? Some of the stuff is expensive, some of it's not. But here's the thing. If this all collapsed like the 80s and all these cards went to zero, I'd still have them in a case up front. And I'd still have these on my office desk. If this $10,000 card went to $1, that's a great memory. So that's your PC. That's what you love. Doesn't mean you can't get 2 or 3 of the same card and give one to Connor when he comes down to town because you got multiples. But I'm keeping this, and I don't care what the value is. If it goes to $2,000, great. If it goes to $1, great. I remember some guys told me when I opened a card shop, like, you can't be a collector anymore. I know why they said it, and I understand it is hard if you're to run a business and be a collector, and you've got to separate yourself to a degree. But I don't ever want to lose the collector side of me.
I think as I got older, I do think you hear the story a lot from a lot of older guys. They're like, oh, I can now afford it. You know, I think it is just part of like building, like separating money and PC money and collector money. It's kind of tough.
It's another reason why I think people always are so gloom and doom and in the moment of things. Oh, the hobby's amazing. Oh, the hobby's gone in the toilet.
Fanatics up and
it's not. It's like just pump the brakes. Again, the hobby started in the Grover Cleveland administration. It's okay, right? Jiminy Christmas.
You're the only person I've ever seen it reference the 1800s with cards, which is like amazing.
To me, it's amazing that you think of forever, the biggest card ever was Honus Wagner, right? That was 100 years ago, and people still want it. So you have the big boom, and that was never going to stay. That's just being business, and we can talk about that some other time. But like, it goes up and down. You just layered in an entire generation of people like me that did exactly what you just said. I couldn't afford that Jordan card in the 90s. Now I have disposable income. I'm going to get that in a PSA 10 or a BJS 10. What about all these kids with Steph Curry? They're just coming. What are they going to do in 15 years? There's going to be a percentage of those kids who are like, I'm getting that Steph Curry rookie I always wanted. Now, we got to teach them some things for sure because it got so money driven. But there's always going to be money driven to a degree. That's part of the hobby. So you don't have to say, everybody wants to just go to these absolutes. Oh, horrible, it's evil for this. Oh, you should never collect for money. Oh, you should always collect for money. Well, they're not mutually exclusive. You can do both. I think it's healthy to do both.
We're turning this into 60 minutes at your farm. We talk about the hobby, you know, overreacting. The market's here. The market's crashing. Fanatics is taking over. Panini's not. Topps is here. There's no more. LeBron James might not sign with Fanatics. Everyone's in the panic mode, or they're either super excited or super panicky. Like, what's your take on that?
I don't even think that's actually hobby specific. I think that's human beings. I think I was a teacher. I had parents and kids. I got a B+. Oh my God, everything's falling apart. I got a D. I got an A- instead of an A. Like, people overreact to anything, right? That just happens. That's okay. So again, when you look at this thing, or if you look at it as a business, you say, okay, what other businesses exist? Because I did this at a bank for a living. What are the safest businesses? Even if they go up and down. And it was veterinarians, dentists, funeral directors, pharmacies, things like that. As a business, what is safer out there right now than a business that's been around 150 years, that's got global market and super liquid? It doesn't mean you make the right decisions. Back when Darius Baisley Silvers were selling for 600,
Oh my.
right? That wasn't gonna last. People invest in stocks, right? For sure. And you gotta look at this company, it's 20 years old, and you check the board members out. What are the last 3 quarters and returns and all this? I've been around major programs, I've done this. I can say, okay, I think that guy's different, and I can invest in that, and here's the reasons why. And then, even then, it's still a risk. But I did it with Keldon Johnson. We talked about it, right? Like, high motor, late first-round pick, drafted by the Spurs, probably not going to play his first year. And I bought all his, I mean, yes, I risked $500, but I got all his Prism Golds. Okay, now when Wembanyama's in, when he got to the bubble, he blew up because he got his chance, and his stuff was really low, and I bought all these. Okay, well, that turned out all right because I could do that a little in basketball. But I mess up just as much. Like, I thought Josh Jackson was going to be good too, right?
Gosh, for Phoenix.
Yeah, but Kansas guy, watched him play. I'm not an anti-social media guy, but like, of course people are going to freak out on social media. What do you think they're supposed to do on social media? That's what they do. Or they post really cool stuff. And then people think, oh, Jimmy, you've got the greatest pack luck of all time, or you live this amazing life. I do live an amazing life. However, it is not without work. You're seeing the best parts of it. Somebody says, I wish I had pack look like you because I hit a Wemby. I opened 6 cases. I only hit 1. Right? Like, and I wrote them back last night, like, I'm glad I hit that one.
They think you hit it out of 1 box.
But it's like, no.
That's not what happened.
And if people want to say, oh, I'm the luckiest guy in the world, no, you opened 72 cases of this, dude. Like, what's real life? And are you okay with it? It's the game I choose to play. I just think if you live a life of, oh, this is going to be a disaster. Oh, this is the best thing in the world. Oh, it's going to be a disaster. It's just exhausting.
It is exhausting.
I don't know how you do that and stay married. I don't know how you do that and have fun at work. I mean, it'd be a roller coaster of a life. It's okay sometimes. Like, if you think I wasn't like, oh man, I wonder what's going to happen with Fanatics. when they first came on and we're doing this. Of course I was. I'm not saying you Pollyanna everything. It's like, oh, it's all gonna be fine. No, you think. Don't be lazy, but also don't be hair trigger on everything. Sometimes, like so far, the Fanatic stuff has turned out pretty good. Sometimes there are a couple times when they sold stuff to shops and they put it on their website for less than they sold it. Everybody freaking out. Okay, next time it wasn't that. They fixed it. Like, they're 2 years into it too. I either go with the flow and try and be intelligent, think it out, be surrounded by good thinkers and treat people right, or I just fold up shop and build a throne room of LaRon's. Be patient. I always tell my team, I tell them all the time, panic slowly.
We're having a little intermission break. What was the place we went to?
Wallace Station.
And we have a little pie here. Don't know what it is. We're going in. It's
Pretty
nice.
good?
It's pretty good.
Well, you know, it's probably squirrel pie around here, but...
What? Is this made from grasshoppers?
Sorghum?
What's it? Yeah, sorghum cookie.
No, that was Oscar. He did an Instagram from the Congo one time eating bugs. He came back and was like, man, why are you eating bugs? I will buy you a burger.
When I was in Mexico City, she was eating grasshoppers and scorpions. And...
Now, I would try that just for fun. I think I've had grasshoppers before in France, actually.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever had?
I'll eat anything. I'd have made money on Fear Factor, man.
Joe Rogan.
Oh, bro, if it's not gonna kill me, I'll eat it.
When you're on the road or when you're at the shop, during parts of the hobby, what's your favorite snack?
Oh man, definitely Diet Dew. And I love me some Cool Ranch. Ale8's awesome. I do like some beef jerky every once in a while now.
Me too, me too.
Oh, the best beef jerky ever is in this state, I'm telling you.
Oh, it is, okay.
It's so good, I'll get you some. It's awesome. Whoa, wipe out.
Oh my.
Come here. When Dane's attack.
These are
You
the
guys
dogs.
got distracted again, come here.
Oh my.
What
Come to
are
Dad.
you doing?
Oh.
Yay, Mr. Mojo! Oh, yay! Hey, you look nice. Can I have your pie?
Hey.
There you go.
Hey, what are you doing?
They love the farm.
Oh, they love it. But they come out here every day and run. And that's when I first told Oscar about this, when I didn't really know him. And I was like, dude, I don't know what it's like to be the player of the year. But I do know, I did work for Kentucky, so I know how crazy your life is. Look, I got a farm, doesn't even have a house. But you're from the Congo. If you need to just breathe, here's the code. You don't have to call and say, can I go today? Like, just go. And I come out here and we run in the dogs and be like, driving my truck and be like, oh, the player of the year is by my creek.
Wow.
Oh, there's the AP Naismith Award winner.
And he's sitting right here.
Yeah, and I didn't want to bother him because that was the whole point.
Yeah.
And then I finally came down and was like, hey, man, just checking on you, how you doing? And we talk about basketball 5 minutes, and we talk about life and God and the Lord and Christ and all that for 3 hours. And then last summer, it was 3 days a week, 3 hours a day, which you saw.
Yes.
We talked till dark.
Wow.
And it wasn't about pick and rolls. We just had a great time.
Beautiful.
All right, that was the one-on-one interview with Jimmy Mahan, aka the owner of 4 card shops now. Always a pleasure.
Dude, sitting out here with you is a joy. Forget business and all that, just us getting some time and place with this beauty all day.
All day long. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, comment down below, don't forget to subscribe. Follow Jimmy on Instagram, Kentucky Basketball Cards, and follow his main shop, Kentucky Roadshow Shop, or Roadshow Cards.
Roadshow Guard, any of them.